So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our first demo day of our content design and UX writing course. I'm super glad to start this course like 3 months ago, and even a year, almost a year with Marie and Jen. So planning all the content and everything. I'm super excited to see all your projects. So thank you, and we are going to start with Rocio.
Sorry, I forgot to.
There you go.
Well, hello to everyone. I am Rocio, and I would like to share with you a personal experience. Once upon a time, I was a little girl who used to play with my mother's clothes. I borrowed her things, and I matched different outfits to go out for walks in the park. My friends joined the game, but for me, it was something serious. Sunglasses, heels, and even a matching Chanel style purse. Over time, fashion became a way of expressing myself. I used to paint my clothes and make some dresses. I reused everything. I bought cheap clothes to redesign, and as you can imagine, I became an expert on sales. So it wasn't a surprise when I decided to become a makeup artist and a costume designer as well as a journalist. Since then, my source of inspiration has been nature. But at the beginning of this century, when fast fashion industry was growing on a global scale, I was caught between a rock and a hard place, buying these products or feeling guilty for knowing how they were manufactured. Besides, to get access to eco products was not easy because price and availability. I realized that even if I stopped wearing this type of clothing, the problem was still latent. Today, the global fast fashion industry is the second most polluting industry after oil. But also, it represents 2% of the GDP worldwide, and it's a crucial source of employment in emerging economies. Transforming this global business is more than a big challenge. Plus, fast fashion has changed society's relationship with clothing. My personal experience and what happened around the world made me realize it is necessary to transform this situation, at least in some way. How? Well, of course, there are many alternatives, but this time I would like to focus only in the ones related with the communication and content. Content can tell you how clothes are made, including manufacturing conditions, materials, etc. But also, content can help us to recover the reason why, the moments we wish, and the feelings we have when we wear clothes. So, through the new content, it's possible to improve some consumer habits. Recently, many surveys confirm that people care about fashion, materials, design, functionalities, etc., but also about nature. Indeed, during the pandemic, people began to search for sustainable garments and to consume that through the apps. More than 60% of European consumers will buy eco-fashion items next year. Let's take an example. Well, one of the oldest and most relevant fast fashion brands is Zara. So Zara could seize this opportunity to improve fast fashion business by offering a renewed mobile shopping experience. How? Well, include some little changes to guide the users into an eco-friendly and inclusive shopping experience. How could it be? Well, this is the current Zara app. After saw it probably, users wonder, what is the benefit of this app? What does feature means? It's only for men and children? Are they yelling at me with these capital letters? Any information about products, something eco? There are some improvements to do. So here is my proposal for a new Zara app. Sarafi offers the possibility to buy eco-fashion items to everyone to facilitate their decision-making process. The mission of Sarafi is helps users to buy in an eco and conscious way. The vision is to contribute in the creation of the global, sustainable, and digital clothing market. Some of their goals are to promote a responsible consumption of clothing and increase sales of eco products through the app. What kind of users does it cater for? One of them is Marta. She's very specific when she wants to buy clothes. The other is Lisa. She's a recent mom, so she really cares about time. And the last one is Elliot, who preferred to buy at the shop. How does Sarafi walk them through their purchase experience? Well, with personalized interaction with the users, providing better content, giving details about eco products, and using gender and inclusive language. Let's see a short interaction looks like. Well, this is the home of Sarafi. Here, Sarafi introduces herself and specifies which are the benefits through a friendly and helpful tone. The users can recognize the main icons and some of the call to action, which invites to add Sarafi in the home of the mobile with a direct access. After that, the journey continues with a simple question. The users only need to write their names, nickname, or whatever they prefer. So there are no gender limitations here. Also, we avoid the extended list of personal information, which will be completed for once at the end of the shopping experience. In these screens, Marta, for example, can type what specific products is she looking for. And next is going to appear a list of suggestions, and always at the top of the list is going to appear the products, eco products, or products made with organic materials, etc. After choosing the first one, Marta have three alternatives. The research users express that it's not nice to see many products which are at the end of the journey are not going to be available. So this is a suggestion to give a solution to that. Marta prefers to take a panoramic view of the whole summer collection. And here are different pictures about the products and a short and metaphoric description about the moments when we usually wear, for example, swimwears. This moment in the journey is an opportunity to connect in a different way with the users. Marta picked this model, and now it's necessary to ask her about the size. Because this is not an easy question, so there is a little speech to introduce in that, and are presented many of the different sizes which are available to the product. Finally, Marta gets an asymmetric swimwear made in Spain with organic cotton. She can add to the bag or save it in favorites. Well, after the design of this process, some of my learnings are seize the opportunities, make it simple, get it better, and do it human.
Bravo, Rocío. Amazing presentation. I really like your storytelling. Super smooth. I love it. You should present it to Inditex.
I am not sure.
Any questions? Rocío? Not at all clear. It's awesome. I don't know if the instructors want to give feedback or say something to her.
Oh, I'll start. Yeah, thank you, Ro. Very nice storytelling. Absolutely, I agree with Daniela on that. No, you kind of and how you're using the visuals throughout the storytelling. You're focusing very much on the app, and that you know that you've been working, with the whole user journey and different channels and so forth as well. No, I wonder because I know you were very deep into the research phase. No, I remember that. how did that inform your content decisions?
Well, thanks to the research, I could identify in which moments of the journey could it be possible to introduce, for example, some changes, the things about the size, the information about the products, and that's all the different suggestions that I did through the journey came from the research, of course. And the other thing is that the keywords research and all the SEO research helps a lot to define which words are necessary to be used when we have to give or when we want to give a personalized interaction with the user, because the way that the app could speak or communicate with the users is different, and all the data specifications appears thanks to the research.
Thank you.
Nice. More questions or any feedback? All good?
I was just gonna say, wow, what a leap from the demo day. Your demo day presentation was already good, and it was so fun to see it come to life today. Well done.
Thanks.
We had a rehearsal day on Saturday, yeah. So that is like a pre-demo day and the demo day. Fantastic.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Rocio. So the next one is going to be our alumni and current student, Vanessa Tantes.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, hello, my name is Vanessa. I'm a UX designer, and I'm happy to share with you today my final project. I changed recently my job, and when I started with the research for this project, I also saw that I was not the only person that had the impression that there are a lot of people applying for the same job. Indeed, I found some statistics. For example, youth employment for graduates stands at 17% at the EU, especially here in Spain and Italy, it's up to 35%. And also for me, it took more than 1 year to find a new position. And finally, I'm working remote for a company abroad. For this project, I decided to do a rebranding of an existing recruitment platform that is called Applicato. It's a headhunting for companies, but they focus mainly on students. So I chose Applicato because of my job experience, the research, and also then because I think they can improve, especially in their in-current communication, but also because it's not adapted for the target audience. And the principle from Applicato is that the students can just sign up, create a profile, and then get matched to their job. First, I started with the brand promise, so with the vision and also the mission. The vision for me would be let the job find the graduates, and the mission make the transition for graduates into professional life accessible and easy. One main part was the research. So first I did a survey for students, and there the most important impact or the most important question was, what are they struggling when looking for a job? And there the most people said that they have too much competition when applying for a job, and that they also have struggles to sell themselves during a job interview. I also researched on the company side to understand what they are looking for, also what they value in employing students, and there the most frequently answers was that they are good learners and that they mainly have lower salaries. But also during the interviews, I found one information very important. One HR employee employee said we are already using several HR tools, so sometimes I lose track and time if they don't complement each other. And this was really a good insight for my for the strategy of the product. After the research, I created 2 personas, one for the students and one for the HR managers. For the students, I create Maxim. For him, it's mostly important to find a job easy and fast and uncomplicated, where he can then gain some experience. Then on the other side, I created Luana. She, of course, wants to find a new talent fast and motivated for the company. Afterwards, I created the journey. This one is for the students. So they mainly sign up on the platform. They will get the job matches, the notifications, and then they can decide themselves if they would like to apply. And then the applications process starts. And for the companies, it would be similar. They would also sign up on the platform. They would create the position. And then if a student is interested and clicks on apply, then also they can start the application process. Then I started with the verbal guidelines. For me, the voice would be professional, fresh, and bold. Professional because we're in a professional business, in a recruiting business, and fresh and bold mostly for students. And then the tone would vary between helpful and direct, especially for the students as they would need our help, but also then professional and honest. I choose all caps and sentence cases as part of the verbal identity. All caps mainly because it goes well with the voice, direct and clear. Also, then it would be mainly used for buttons, but also like for smaller titles. And the sentence case for me also because it's easier to read, especially like for the younger people, and it's more fresh and fast. As it is a rebranding, the content audit was one of the most important points also during the preparation to find the main pain points of the current Applicator website. And for me, it was that the company page would need to be improved, but also the company area that was not existing so far would be also important to create. Then to adapt the content to the new branding and create a current design and communication. I started the visual design with a mood board. It should represent the new path in the life of the students, like a kickstart, and that they start a professional life. For the typography, I chose Gotham because it's clear, it's sans serif. And then for the colors, I choose some bright colors, also more in the green sectors because it's more hopeful and to encourage also the young students. After this, I created a new logo. Here you can see the logo how it was before. And then afterwards, after rebranding, this would be the logo. The triangles would represent or make reference to a play button so that they can start a new life, the new professional life. I also did the heart analysis for SEO to look for myself, how could I measure the success of the website, especially like in points of happiness, engagement, adaptation, retention, and the task success. For the design principles, I had 6 in total, so it would be clear, so that it's comprehensive for everyone, useful, especially like for the students, current, human, transparent, and privacy. Especially privacy was very important because we're dealing with a lot of dates and data of the students, but also of the companies. To the deliverables, this is the student perspective, the main side for the students. The design was already in place, but I did the UX writing. Also, I have to say that I worked with Applicator before, and I did design last year, so I choose also this project to see my own faults that I could improve. So the student side was already in place, but not the company side. So for the student side, for the UX writing, I chose a new title, small efforts, big job offers, and as a sidekick, register and get matches that really matter. For the call to action, I chose create a student profile. And for those who have already a profile, I created a smaller call to action with a login so that it's easier and quicker. This is an example for the profile where you can see your matches, but also where you can apply. This is how the existing company website is. You can see it's not responsive. There's no clear call to action. And also there was no benefits and features. And as I already mentioned before, the company could just like contact Applicato, and there was no structure behind where they could like create a profile, for example, and do the job offers. So this would be the new design of the company website. I chose as a title, Find Young Talents That Fit Your Needs. And as a sidekick, are you looking for freshly graduated students to join the company? Create an account and get matched with incredible talents. And as a call to action, create a company profile. And also there, I put already the logos of actual clients so that they can see that they are in a good company. Then if you would scroll down, you could see a preview of the dashboards that they can see how the product looks like and if it would be beneficial for them. Then I would continue with the benefits and features, also with the integrations, with which HR integrations Applicato is compatible with. As I already said in the research, this was one main input I got from HR employees. And then I would do a call to action and a footer. I also created already a blog post. This would be especially very interesting for students and also for SEO. So the first blog post would be 5 tips to rock your interview to get them more successful. And then other themes could be things to pay attention to when signing a contract, interviews with HR employees, and how to make remote onboarding successful. And then my next steps would be more user testing and also to improve the 360 communication, including email newsletters, social media, especially LinkedIn for students and Instagram for students and LinkedIn for HR employees, and then expand to other European countries because Applicato is for the moment only available in Germany. And as there are already a lot of countries also that they are struggling with younger graduates, that they don't find a job. So it could be also very beneficial for them. So yeah, this was my project and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Amazing, Vanessa, super cool that you mix. I can see that you mix all what you learned during your UX UI design course and now with the UX writing. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Any questions?
I'll jump in. Vanessa, so first of all, fantastic job. I really want to comment on your brand positioning, your kind of voice and tone, and how beautifully that's integrating in your visual design. And it's just consistency all around. And it's also very authentic and memorable, which is super important for a brand. So good job with that. I was curious at the beginning, you were mentioning one of the big pain points for the users was that they have too much competition. Could you explain a little bit more about, like how did you kind of solve that or how did you address that?
I think it's a good point that Applicato is mainly focusing on students. So they are more like equal. They don't have much competition between each other because the experience is more or less on the same level. And Applicato is more also for them as a student, so that not, for example, junior persons that have already 1 or 2 years of experience can also apply to the position. So it would be really more focused on the students.
Nice. More questions or thoughts?
I also want to, yeah, hello. I also want to tell you that I think it was really, really nice, the presentation. And I wanted to ask you also if you had some data on how it was performing this project before what you are planning to do with the new design.
I had some data, yes. I knew, like, for example, how many people already signed up on the platform on the student side, and it was not much. It was, I think, in 80 persons, not much. So that's also why it has to be improved, and especially in the communication, to make like more noise so that they get more people on the platform.
Nice. So it will be nice, like, okay, this is like to preview how will you translate or how you will implement that also on. It would be nice to see how the marketing campaign around that should come. But really, I really like the design and how you presented. It was really clear. Stop it. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Marie, I believe you want to talk before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fantastic presentation. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Very well structured, and you managed to fit so many things into that presentation. Nice to see the big also content audit work that you did as it was a rebranding project, no? I wonder, are you going to pitch this presentation to the client? What will be your, the focus that you will have on it, and how will you argument for your content changes, decisions?
Yeah, definitely. I will have a talk with Applicato, and I will present them my results, and hopefully they can then also learn from this. And yeah, as the site anyways is only in German, it would be, as the presentation and all the UX writing stuff is in English. So this could be then also helpful that they also get other persons on the platform that are not only German speaking.
Thank you.
Right, Vanessa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the next one is going to be Silvia.
Yes. Let me. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. All right.
Yes.
So I'll get started. First of all, thanks everyone for joining today. I'll be presenting my brand service idea. It's called Sanduk. And this picture was taken in Umkais, which is in the north of Jordan. It's the place where this app would be used. So let's get started. Just a bit about myself. My name is Silvia Ojoa, and I thought about this project because it's like an extension of work that I did at an international development project in Jordan. This image is a sample product made by women participants in this project. And as you can see, it's homemade honey from women who were trained in beekeeping and honey production. The project as a whole focused on access to finance with the aim of improving women's entrepreneurship and also developing small businesses. And this is where the idea basically came from, to serve these women. And the name of the service is Sanduk, and this means box in Arabic, and I'll show you why in the next couple of slides. The point of this image is twofold. So first, it's the overall mission of the app, which is to improve access to finance for all. And that's really the aim and the motivation behind the project. And the second is to illustrate the case. So this is a client locking up a box, which is used to store their money. And it's also the inspiration behind the word Sanduk, the name of the company. This is another visual, and this one has the mission statement, digitalizing savings and loans groups, with creating an accessible and reliable service for underserved communities. And here you can see the money and this very physical aspect of counting the money, the handwritten ledger. You can see below the woman's arm, the calculator, everything being handwritten. This will just give some background. First, what are savings and loans groups? This is the app is made to serve these groups. These are self-replicating, member-driven groups that meet on a regular basis to save money. And they're made of about 15 to 20 members. They operate in cycles of about 9 to 12 months. And in this particular context, they were developed and initiated by the NGO that I was working for. As I mentioned, the specific context for this whole idea is from Jordan. This is the map, and this informs all the personas and the voice and even the colors, everything. So the particular project worked in the Jordan Valley, which is one of the poorest areas of the country. It's towards the west, towards the Dead Sea. There are some statistics here regarding the financial inclusion situation in Jordan. This is pulled from a report by the central bank of the country. As you can see, women much less likely than men to have an account at a financial institution. Also young people, women are less frequently included in the formal financial systems and in remittances. So SLGs can be used as a stepping stone towards better financial acumen and to create an opening that increases their members' comfort with financial tools, with budgeting, with entrepreneurship. And then some NGOs also use these groups to train and teach financial literacy. And finally, digitalizing the groups through an app, for example, it really opens an opportunity for more secure record keeping, better record keeping in general, and for improving members' digital competency, which makes them more competitive in the labor market or as entrepreneurs. This is some basic benchmarking. These are a couple of services that function similarly to Sanduk. One is Chamoka. It's from Care International, while My Worth is by Pact, another NGO. One thing that is unique about Chamoka, how they promote themselves, is they offer a kind of market to compare different regional financial tools. And My Worth, they really push their data analytics. Both also offer monitoring tools for project managers, and both of them work in Africa. Here I'll start with a couple of personas that I developed based on research. The first is Amira. She's a married woman in her mid-50s. She lives in Qais, in that tourist area in the north of Jordan that was in the first slide. The focus for her is accessibility. She's been a serial entrepreneur. She has a lot of business experience, but her businesses haven't really developed that much further. She lacks solid accounting principles, and she has very little technical marketing knowledge. This is the second persona. Her name is Dalal. She's a 27-year-old married woman from a bit further south than Amira, from Gudasafi. It's a village south, close to the Dead Sea. And she's more tech-savvy than Amira, but she still struggles with feeling comfortable with financial tools and with collaborating on entrepreneurial projects. This is the user journey, just kind of showing the process of how a person like Amira would feel secure with the app and the steps that user might take throughout the process. And you can see touch points along the journey and the different feelings that evokes. And I show this picture just to further illustrate the project. These are women working in a food processing project in Jordan, but this is also the inspiration behind the color palette that you have seen and that I will discuss in a little bit. These are the company core values. I center them around reliability and accessibility and precision. It does work with financial data, so this is an essential attribute. And accessibility is key, as the main audience might have lower levels of education and literacy than even if it wasn't serving the capital city of Jordan. We continue with the voice. Again, accessibility is very important, denoted here by clarity, clear. Friendliness, also very important. And finally, being knowledgeable, making sure that the app contains all the information, but not being overwhelming and never condescending to the user. This is the personality. So accessibility, most important aspect, given technological and even literacy limitations, kind, respectful, and informed, updating as the SLG method maybe changes, adapted to the user's needs at all times. And finally, some inclusivity guidelines, again, clarity, security of financial data, informative, and a very streamlined, straightforward process. Here is a sample sample mobile homepage. I had to split it so that it would fit in this slide. But basically, it just shows, some of the mission statement, some of the features, and a get in touch contact page. Here are a couple of other sample screens. One is an empty state 404, page not found screen, and the other is a sign up page using the colors and featuring some text. Now we go on to some of the identity aspects. So the brand color palette, the colors that were selected, they were selected to be quite warm and earthy, reflecting the warmth that we would want the users to feel when they are using them, while also promoting brand recognition and consistency. And these are the main colors at the top. The text colors are black and gray. This is reflecting the sector. It is the humanitarian NGO sector, so quite serious with traditional guidelines, so just a classic black. The primary typeface that I selected is Montserrat. I selected it because it's quite legible and easy to read, but it still has some personality and style. And it's also quite similar to the style that I've seen other NGOs select. So I thought it was good to stay along those lines and that style. And here's starting some SEO. So keyword research, some short tail and long tail keywords that could be used. And this is showing the keyword research, but from the back end, basically. And this is a hard outline, measuring the success of the app, retention, different metrics that could be used. This was used to inform some of the KPIs, people who have downloaded, retention metrics, the exit rate, and if any community building along the line within the app. And this is an image just of some of the products also from the Jordan Valley. Here we have some informational article ideas. I thought this could be used for SEO, and also some of them could be implemented within the app. For example, regional financial service information that could be useful for users. Some other things, latest research or findings, learning documents from partner NGOs could be more for SEO for the homepage. And this is Beekeeper. It's the women who made the honey that was in earlier in one of the first slides. And that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic, Silvia. Super nice. It's super interesting, that project. You were there in Jordan working for that project?
Yeah, I worked there in 2019. And then I've been working with them, but remotely since last year.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Any questions?
I have a question. I was just curious if what makes your app different from the other apps, or maybe the idea isn't to have it be so different, that it's just for a different region. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that was actually, I was thinking about mentioning that in the benchmarking, that the primary differentiation right now would be the regional difference, because I actually haven't seen a similar app. All of them, I've seen like 2 or 3 different ones besides, a couple of other ones besides the 2 that I mentioned, and they all work in Africa. So that would be a different, just has to be a little bit different for that region.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice work.
Thanks.
Who else? I can see a message from Miriam saying cool. Good presentation.
Thanks, Miriam.
Marie?
Oh, thank you, Silvia. So nice to see how this project has evolved, since you showed me the last time. Really nice that you I really like the name, no? It sounds really nice and warm in the mouth when you say it. And I was wondering, as you worked with this kind of, before, I wondered, with these groups before, I wondered, did the research and this project they've been running through this course bring you new insights? And what kind of insights?
Yeah, it was interesting because at the same time as I was working on this, that project I was helping with our final report about the SLGs, because that project is coming to a close. So it was quite interesting to see. And I asked my boss if this would be something. Unfortunately, the project is closing, but she did say that it would be something that could be implemented in the future, especially because some of the SLGs that developed as a result of this project, they're more for children. So the children were really they really liked seeing their moms go to it. So they tried to make some themselves, and they're a bit more tech savvy. So that could be maybe the start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who else? I don't know. I don't have any raised hand. Remember that if you want to talk, you have us over there. You have a raised hand, so I can see when you want to talk. Nicole.
My hand. Sylvia, it's just curiosity. So for that market, what is kind of the research that you found in terms of using apps and smartphones? I'm wondering, what's the accessibility there? Is that something that you looked into?
Yeah, well, again, at least from the NGO that I was working with, they were looking a lot into, actually one thing that was brought up, that has been brought up a lot, but not so much for SLGs, it was because of the pandemic, they couldn't meet in person. So they were talking about using like an e-wallet service. And that's becoming more and more common in Jordan. So that already is how some of the other projects, they pay their workers. For example, one of the partner organizations, it's agritourism, and they were paying their, the farmers and this through the e-wallet. So that would be something that would be implemented. So there is some of that. I wouldn't say, like in the communities that we worked, I wouldn't say that most people have, the highest end smartphones, but definitely everybody has at least a phone. So the e-wallet could be definitely used. And I did see in some of the other projects, like some of the other similar apps, that it's sometimes one person, like you can use it on one phone, for example, if you're retaining the information for a group. So that's another option as well, if everybody doesn't have a sufficiently strong phone, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, but Jordan in general is like a middle income country. So most, it's in these areas it's quite poor, but people do have access to phones.
Okay. Very interesting. And also wanted to comment on the beautiful job with the photography and the visual branding and how you brought that, into, all of your titles and the app design, website design. It's very nice.
Thanks, you helped a lot. So thank you.
That's awesome.
I also wanted to. Sorry. I also
Go for it. Go
wanted
for it.
to share. Sorry. I also want you to share that when we started the keyword search, we find that you had a lot of opportunities on SEO on how people were looking for financial help and also for women issues. So I don't know if you want to share a little bit more of what we found out, but because I think you really, really have a lot of opportunities on there. There's not a lot of things already done there.
Yeah, it was interesting because it feels like it's a very niche app, and maybe it is a specific kind of sector, but especially for SEO, like if you were reaching out and doing blogs and everything like that, there was a lot of keywords and different opportunities. Like we looked a lot at financial access, financial services, so yeah, that was quite a bit of possibility, especially related to women.
Especially to create a lot of community and a lot of blog posting and news, especially in some areas of the world. I think it's really interesting to have that information that it's not there in many ways, no, and many languages and many regions. So I think it's really cool if you can start doing that, because although we also see the competence that we're not doing that many content about that.
Sure.
Nice. Thank you, Silvia. Amazing presentation. So the next one is going to be Julieta.
Yes, hello. I've got a lot of sounds in my presentation, so I hope everything is going to be fine. Cross fingers. And
Yes.
Let's go.
Welcome to the land of sounds.
Okay, so this is what I will sharing with you today over the next 10 minutes. But before, I would like to start with a small experiment. For that to happen, I want you to close your eyes and just listen. Okay, it was just 10 seconds, but did you travel with me to another place? What did you feel? What kind of sounds is this for you? That experience you just had is what our sound it's all about. And to explain a little bit more about it, let me introduce you to Al, as it's going to present this presentation with me.
Hola, I'm Al Sound, but my friends call me Al. My grandfather was Thomas Alva Edison, the inventor of the gramophone. His friends also call him Al. Nice to meet you. I'm not like my grandfather. I'm not an inventor, but an explorer. I want you to travel with me in a different way. Through the sense of hearing, learn to see the sounds and meet people like us, sound lovers. With me, you have the superpower to share your sounds travel through the sounds of other people, and create new soundscapes. My advice: never forget to listen first, make friends, and never stop learning. Why I'm so obsessed with sounds? It's in my blood, but also because a lot of good friends are saying cool stuff about it.
Like, for example, Steven Spielberg, that he always say that I always believe that our ears leads our eyes to what the story leaves. And the last quote also, it's about Carlos de Ita, that what he's always saying is that you see through sounds. So let's see what Al has to tell us.
I like to dream big. I want to be the biggest real sound library on Earth. I want you to experience the world with the sounds of hearing, to create new experiences and learning around sound, and to create a community of sound lovers and sound designers. I dream to create a collective memory, a map of real sounds. But what is the real sound? This is what my friends have told me.
I did a survey just before starting the project with Marie, and a little bit what people said that real sounds were for them. It's a little bit like the sounds of every day, the street, the city noise, something that is happening my day to day. And let's go back with Al.
We have a mission together to make accessible real sounds from all around the world and create curated content around them. One thing that my grand-grandfather told me is the importance of the values, and mine are very facile. Passion for sounds, community, travel, learn. I'm an observer. I've been watching my competitors. I've learned that the world of sound libraries is pretty old-fashioned, techy, and quite unfriendly for the users.
The two main competitors, it's Freesound and the BBC Sound Effects. There are two super big libraries. The Freesound is a collaborative one. They give you free sounds and they have a community around it, but the website are quite primitive. They are very serious and they are not at all user-friendly.
Music world is more friendly, but here we are not talking about real sounds, but sample, mixes, and this kind of stuff. Why can't the world sound could be as cool as music world?
So let's see how I'll want to be.
I want to be functional, cosmopolitan, and friendly. I want to talk to you with my own voice, with a strong, clear personality. I'm your friend, but I want to be clear, helpful, and concise. Sometimes I can use words from other languages, excusez-moi, but always in a way that you'll understand me. I would like to be like GR.
He's a French urban artist. His installations have always something to say about the people who live there. And he speaks a universal language, but with a very strong French accent.
I have two very good amigos, a sound designer and a sound lover. Both of them want to explore with me the sounds.
So these are the two personas. David, he's a sound designer. He has passion for sounds. He's creative. He's up to date with the last technology, and he loves to found new things around sound. And the other one is Nina. She's a creative worker in Barcelona. Her favorite sentence, it's everything has emotion. And she likes to travel, go to music festivals. She's open-minded, and she's a curious soul.
They're going to travel with me. They're going to travel with me in two different caminos, but they meet constantly.
So these are a little bit the two user journey. The one of Nina, the difference is that she's going to explore more. She's going to use it more as a map, just to lose herself over there. And she will use a lot of curated content, as for example, workshops that David is doing. And David, for example, the difference is that he is going to download that sounds and perhaps to give courses and workshops to Nina.
How do I look? Great, of course. As my friend GR, I've got a very cool outfit with bright colors. I'm fresh, cool, and techy. I'm colorful, I can expand or be more compact. As with the cassette, you can record, listen, and share sounds with your friends. My phone is bold, timeless, and easy to read. Inside my app, my phone is clear, fun, and slightly different. I can undress or play with the waves of sounds.
All sound.
Do you want to see the sounds? Travel around the map. And find the little dots. Press play and have fun. I don't have to forget about my website and Google. They help me get more friends all around the internet.
So here we have a little bit the map of the website with the homepage, who is Al, the map and the blog, of course the legal and the footer and the contact us. This will be the above the fold with the hero as see the sounds, and after share, travel, create with sounds, but listen first and join me, like to download the app. The important of the blog, Miriam, you told me to do the content calendar, but I will do it. It's in my next steps. And the blog, it's this about tips and tools, what's on, curated expos and future sounds, and also about the future, for example, soundscape ecology. Also, as it's a sound app, I think it's quite important to have a podcast. So about sound stories, interviews, and also places, for example, what makes New York City sounds authentic. The KPIs, it's to get people to know the app, to create a community around Al, and also, Miriam, you told me that it's too much for the beginning, but we're going to try it, so to get the homepage of the app in the top 3 of the search.
When you are like me, you need always to measure your results. But for once, why don't we do it from the cœur?
So this will be a little bit the metrics with also the Google Heart, with the happiness, the engagement, the adoption.
For now, it's all I've got. So sayonara and enjoy a glass of good vino while you see the sounds around you.
So the next step will be work on the design of the website to create perhaps the web and the content calendar, and why not to try to create the map of the sounds to start. And the last, thank you to all of the teachers and the colleagues of the course, and Pablo, David, and my family for their big help during this bootcamp. Thank you.
Bravo, Julieta. This presentation just blew my mind. Amazing. Super consistent and just awesome. Congrats. Any questions or thoughts? I want to go first. Come on. No one?
Julieta, very nice. How did you do the sound effects? Did you do it yourself with a sampler?
My boyfriend David is a sound designer, so he helped me about it. We were yesterday doing all the voices and everything. It's my voice, but we just tune it, and we were checking the effects and everything.
That's awesome. But it's your voice, Julieta? Yeah?
Yes, it's my voice. I did a voice like this. It's for this that today I don't have so many voices.
Great. Marie?
Thank you, Julieta. That was really fun. Actually, your presentation was as experimental as your solution. Huh? So that was really nice to see, see how you've been working very hard on this the last weeks, no? And I was wondering, how would you work with intelligent content here, and how would you categorize sound, with remember our card sorting exercise, the taxonomy and things like that?
Yes, through the tags, and also it will be like super important at the moment that people create a profile to know what kind, if they are in the city, if they are in the mountains, if they like to record, what kind of sounds they like to record, also to listen. So this will help us like a lot, like to create the intelligent content also with me. And we were saying that, for example, white noise, it's super important also, for example, perhaps for kids. And it's in the moment, I think, to create the profile to get all the information, and also during the journey of the people, like keep asking questions. And
Nice. Thank you, Julieta. Congrats. And the next one is going to be...
Go ahead, Julieta. Very nice.
Okay. The next one is going to be Melissa.
Yes, thank you. Can you see my screen yet?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. So, welcome everyone. My name is Melissa, and today I want to bring you along on a journey. I want to tell you a story about a very special flower. This is the lotus. The lotus flower is regarded in many cultures as a symbol of purity, enlightenment, and self-regeneration. Its characteristics are the perfect analogy for the human condition. Even when her roots are in dirty waters, the lotus produces the most beautiful flower. So let me introduce to you Lotus. Lotus is a platform with tools, resources, and programs that enable women to become more financially literate and independent. And like the lotus flower, it doesn't matter where your roots are or what your environment looks like, but you can always grow and you can even flourish. But so why do women need better access to financial education? Now let's have a look at some global statistics from my primary research that go to show that men are still a long way ahead of women when it comes to financial literacy. Women on average, they still earn a lot less and have an overall poorer understanding about managing and investing money. So women have a need for financial education, but is there a want as well? Now, let's dive a bit deeper into some of my own research findings. And these are just some of the many comments that have come in from a survey that I have conducted. Now, I know there's a lot of comments, so let me sum them up for you. And basically, what women have said was that there's not enough resources available, that information is difficult or intimidating to understand, that financial education should ideally be part of a school curriculum. And someone even said that they thought investing is only for rich people. Now, in my survey, I've received 118 responses from women from 32 different countries. And what was impressive was that the level of education was really high. 80% of women had a bachelor's or master's degree. But what was interesting was that their general level of education did not correlate with their level of financial education. So most of them said that they didn't find that they had accurate education in that sector. And then I also wanted to find out what tools and applications would be most desired for women to learn about finances. And we had a clear winner, which was a one-on-one personalized money mentoring program, which was closely followed by an app, a money planner, and an online course as well. Now, let's have a look at my archetypes and personas that I developed for the Lotus brand. So Lotus has two archetypes, which is the every woman who values simplicity, practicality, and enjoys a sense of belonging and community. And then we also have the explorer. The explorer is curious, independent, and always on the hunt for more freedom. And based on these, the archetypes and my research, I have created 2 user personas, which I already had a pretty clear idea of what they're going to look like. And the research really helped me guide to develop their personalities and turn them into actual human beings. So first of all, we have Ava, who represents our explorer. And then we also have Penelope, who represents our everyday woman. For my user journey, I have selected Ava as she's a really accurate representation of the women who also participated in the survey. And her current scenario is that she is well established in her career. She's quite organized with her finances already, but she wants to lower her expenses and learn how to diversify and invest her money better. Her goals and expectations would be to lower the expenses to save more money, generate more streams of income through a side hustle, ideally. And she also wants to learn different ways of how to invest money. And her stages of the user journey would be to discover Lotus, to join, sign up, to engage and learn on the platform and grow, and then eventually to master and give back to the community. Now, as for my verbal and visual guidelines, I've set 3 principles which are to be accessible, to be helpful, and to be empowering. I've also drafted my formatting and punctuation guidelines, but I'm not going to go into those in this presentation. So let's rather focus on the brand voice, which is really important. So the brand voice for Lotus will be inclusive, encouraging, welcoming, and assertive. And as we know, a brand voice stays consistent, but the tone can change depending on where a user is on the journey. And for that, I've drafted this scale so we can see how the tone will shift from a welcoming to a more confident and assertive tone as the user progresses and learns more on the platform. Now, let's talk design. In the design week, we started working on our mood boards, and I've put my 3 design principles on the top left corner, as you can see, to really have them guide me throughout the entire design process. I drafted different color palettes, and I have selected this color palette for my final design. It includes different green tones, which are frequently used for finance brands because they represent growth and trust. But in our case, of course, they also build a really nice link to nature. I then complemented the green tones with a rich golden yellow, which I found was not frequently used by other brands, and it thus gives us a really good platform to stand out. And of course, gold represents wealth and richness. I then, based on these designs, came up with a very basic prototype for a desktop version. So this is just to showcase what kind of copy we can expect to see on a desktop version for our homepage in our above the fold section. So we have a really strong dominant hero, which is making money female. And then we have our sidekick underneath, which is your money journey starts here. Learn how to manage, save, and invest for your financial independence, with a call to action at the bottom. And finally, what types of other content will we potentially see on Lotus? We'll definitely have a lot of blogs and tutorials and testimonials, as well as the promotion of the one-on-one money mentoring program and small group courses. And what is next for Lotus? I will definitely be refining the prototypes, do more content and user testing, as well as refining the marketing and content recycle. Not recycle, life cycle. And that is it for me. Thanks so much for joining today. And how can I help you with your questions?
Nice, Melissa. Amazing. Any questions for Melissa? Nicole?
You're muted, Nicole.
Sorry. No, I was saying you had some remarkable results for your survey. You sent it to so many people. How did you do that?
I just sent it to a lot of people, and I guess I'm very fortunate to have a really cool network of amazing women in my life. And yeah, I got responses from places like Pakistan, Zimbabwe. Like, I don't even know people in those countries, but I guess people were just sharing and sharing because I encouraged them to do so. But I think also that the feedback that I got was so overwhelming, because I think women around the globe are just so excited about this topic. So they were really, eager to participate in the survey and also find out what people actually said in the survey.
Nice. Super interesting.
For me, that is one of the very strong parts of your presentation that I've seen is, how you dive into kind of the problem and then validating your solution with all of that research. I think it's very well done, very solid.
Thank you.
More questions?
I just wanted to say too that your copy is so solid as well. Yeah, you have a talent there. So nice work on the hero statement and the sidekick. Excellent.
That's good to hear. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, Melissa. It was really nice. Really nice
Thank
also to
you.
see all the content that you have developed.
Your son also say it, Miriam. I believe he's agreed with you. Okay, Marie.
Thank you, Melissa. That was very, very well presented and very well structured and impressive research. Absolutely. I have agreed, and I like the one making money female. Your tagline there is very very powerful, no? Yeah, and I was wondering, how would you, for your personas, personalize the content?
I think because I'm really focused on personalized solution, because there's already quite a lot that's quite generic. So that's why the money mentoring program will be really dominant and tailor-made to each person's needs. But even if you don't want to sign up for that, there will be other tools like small group courses that will be more affordable and more accessible to people. But also I really encourage the community online to be actively involved. So if you want to be a writer, if you later want to become a money mentor, you can get really involved in areas that interest you and areas that you think you can add value to the community.
Thank you. Any ideas on how you would take it further?
Yeah, that's the challenge now. It's a big topic. I wish I had more time to really focus on that. Yeah, I'll still have to think about that, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Congrats. So we have 2 more left, and the next one is going to be Pan. I believe she's here.
Hi there. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, no? Can you see it? Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, Google Chrome might not have. Okay, I can't. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I have technical difficulties of sharing because of permission settings on my Google.
Yeah, no worries. So we can go with Rocio, and then you're going to be the last one. That's fine.
I think that I'm also having technical difficulties, but I'll try. I'm also feeling a bit slow today.
No worries.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming. There you go.
Okay, just allow me 1 second. So, hello everyone.
Rocio, sorry, you can put it in presentation mode?
Yes. Is not? Like this?
Let me sorry. No, but it's fine. Like,
Let's try.
no worries. If it doesn't work, you can just
Just give me a second. You can see it?
Yeah.
But it's not in full screen?
No.
Okay. Can you see it big enough? I don't think so, no? Because I'm really trying, but...
Yeah, no worries. Go for it.
Okay.
Perhaps if you, it's at the 60%, you can expand there.
Yeah, try to zoom in.
Bigger, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Going to try this way. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I would like to introduce myself briefly. My name is Rocio. I'm a coffee addict, a book lover, and basically a writer and a journalist. But I'm overall a freelance proofreader. And what does being a freelance mean? In short, stress. You have to struggle on a daily basis to get commissions and new clients, and you have to be available 24/7 and pay taxes. And now imagine what it's like being a freelance and working in a sector which is practically invisible. But actually, this sector is essential because a typo or a bad translation can ruin even the best project. Let's take a look at the freelance environment. Let's suppose that you are a freelance, which is the blue dot, and you want to get more clients and commissions, which are the yellow dots. Ideally, we should be connected among each other, but in the reality, this is not that easy. And in this context, the personal branding is decisive because this is how you differentiate yourself from your competitors. Those are real examples from real people in real life from Twitter. In the yellow square, you can see people that is looking for professional. And in the blue square, you can see people that professional that are looking for freelancers. So what is happening in Spain? The real situation is that Spanish freelancers like me, we don't have good working conditions, and they could be improved if we were more visible and we were easily locatable, and we had our personal brand better defined. So for this problem, I created a solution. This is textually my project. It's a platform. It's a mobile application where professionals from the Spanish publishing industry meet their clients. You can see some of the features here, such as the possibility of making network or having a messenger to chat with your clients or manage your projects. The vision and the mission, it's quite clear. It's already commented. It's basically make your freelance work more visible and valuable. And the values of the project are already clear: visibility, simplicity, community overall, and professionality. After empathizing with the problem, I went for the research stage by asking people. I wanted to know, among other things, as a freelance in this sector, do you carve your personal branding? Do you feel supported by a community? And how do you get new clients? Or what is your relation with social media? But I had previous assumption, among others, that there in Spain there was a pre-existing hegemony in the market held by Unión de Correctores, UNICO, an association, and that there was no possible alternative that could unseat the traditional way of recommendation, that is word by mouth. Those are some of the insights. Basically, what I found, that LinkedIn is the preferred professional platform. Almost half of the surveyed freelancers didn't belong to UNICO, and this automatically discarded the association as a competitor, and almost half of the surveyed freelancers didn't work on their personal brandings whatsoever, which for me was an amazing fact. And most important, practically every surveyed person would use Textually in Spain. I'm so proud of this idea, because when you have an idea and it has an impact, it's because probably it's a good one. There was even a person who was expecting the application to be released through crowdfunding, so she could be the first person in Spain to use it. Based on this, I created my secret recipe, which is basically the added value, because I found 4 features that no other competitors have in the market. This is saying being specific for the sector, have synchronization with LinkedIn, offering a meetup planner and personal branding tips. I have 3 strong competitors, the most important Domestika, but also Malt and Superproof. But I knew where to stand, and I love to point out how easy it was for me to find the niche and to position myself. And it was pretty easy for me to define my lights and my shadows. As you can see, I'm working on a saturated market, ruled traditionally by word by mouth. I wanted to give Textually personality, and my main goal was to balance the professional and the inclusive, and also being relaxed. As you can see, Superprof, for example, has a lack of balance, and I didn't want to do this. I also want to create a voice associated with these adjectives: empathetic, engaging, friendly, and helpful. That voice can swing through tones. We are going to go from serious to humorous, but most of the cases we are going from friendly to helpful or caring. By this point, I'm pretty sure you have already associated Textually with the blue. This is totally intentional, because in psychology of the color, blue is associated with the calm, the harmony, the stability, and the confidence. I also wanted the black to be present because it's the main color for the ink. I wanted the red to be present because it's the ink color for the proofreader. And I wanted the logo to have a shape, round shapes, because round is perfection and is community. I also wanted to use Open Sans font, which according to a Google report is the preferred font for people with dyslexia. And this community is aims to be the most inclusive one. I created 3 personas, one on the side of the client and 2 of the sides of the freelancers, because I found a very important generational gaps in the freelancers between the Generation Z and Generation Y. And of the challenges that they were presenting, I discovered that I could offer them features, for example, being a free app and offering these features, personal branding and meetups and portfolio. I created a sitemap. Which I wanted to be as simple as possible. And I wanted to apply some of the core benefits in the hero section. The tagline, I didn't mention it, but it's Las palabras importan, which is basically words matter. Some of the core benefits are visibility, community, and feeling supported, and carving your personal brand, developing skills. What I like about the customer journey is that it's simple, and it swings in a positive mood, from curious to feeling belonging and successful and satisfied. And from going to the stair of awareness to the advocacy, you have to through stages, of course, but in those touch points, we are working with social media and SEO. The users are going to find basically a blog, super curated content, guides or white books, testimonials, weekly newsletters, and meetup events, which are going to be crucial for the project. All this content is going to be to go through a creation process workflow, which is going to be basically from ideate to publish. You need to edit and iterate. We are going to be using some kind of tools like Slack, for example, or Gdocs or Storyfy. But as you can see, it's all about planning, developing a strategy, editing, and then reporting and iterating. It offers intelligent content, for example, those pop-ups for the first time that you are using the application, and based on your profile, if you are the freelancer or the client, or updates panel, for example, what you missed since the last login. We have mentioned the metrics, but we are going to consider in those ones, for example, satisfaction or error rate or conversion rate, and of course, SOE. We are going to use a strategy and some tools. We are going to define some KPIs and a main goal. Those are the tools that I'm going to use. And those are the tools, some from Google and one for the newsletters that is going to be MailChimp. And this was my keywords research, a short tail and a long tail. Please note that all the content is in Spanish because this is for the Spanish community. And basically, that is my project.
That's nice, Rocio. Thank you so much. Amazing presentation. So I just wondering, like, for example, if it's in Spanish, have you considered the different kind of slang that is in the Spanish idiom? I would say, like, for example, I'm from Venezuela and I'm not speak like the Spanish people from here, so sometimes it could be different.
Yes, I didn't mention this because of the lack of time, but this is not for Spanish people. It's also for freelancers based in Spain. So as long as you are working with Spanish as your first or second language, you can use the app. For example, you can be a German freelancer who is a German Spanish translator. I didn't mention this on the presentation because it was all with asterisk, but it's for the Spanish or Spanish talking community.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Any questions? Right. Sorry. Nicole?
Yes. Rocio, can you go back? I don't know if it's possible to go back to your smart content slide. I was curious, what kind of content are you showing? Like, how is it personalized? And at what stage, do you have that popovers, and what kind of value does that add for the user? I don't know if we could go back to that slide.
Yes. Let me try. I can share it right now, but the intelligent content, I can explain it to you. I mean, I can show the slide. But the idea is that the application detects in function of your profile. So when you register as a freelance, the application starts asking you questions. For example, which is your specialty, or what topics are you interested in? And it adds values because in function of what you fill in the application is going to lead you through the way and to find the recommend people for you and events for you. So I think this is super important because you can work isolated and you can work from home, but you have to meet other people outside your house. And you have to connect with other professionals, both clients and people who are your potential competitors.
Okay, interesting. And also, wondering why a popover? Like, what was the thinking of using that exact model versus, for example, just a flat screen? If there was any logic behind that?
Do you mean the pop-up windows?
Yeah, it's like a pop-up. Like it's like pop over a screen. Was there some like a specific?
Yes, the pop-up, the logic is to show you that it's the first time that you are seeing that message.
Okay.
Because if you log in for the first time, you have to notice that that message hasn't been shown to you yet.
Okay.
So the pop-up is going to be for the first time you log in, and if it's been over a week since the last login, for example.
Okay. Very nice. Also wanted to comment on your logo. Very nice job. I like the color palette.
Thank you.
Simplicity of the form with the okay symbol of the hand.
Yes, it's an okay, but it's also a T for textual. So.
It's cute, and I like the little dot the detail of the dot. It'll be
the dot of .ly, so that is why.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Marie?
Oh, thank you so much, Rocío. That was a very impressive, complete case study you're presenting. You know, it's like it's taking us through all the things that we've been working with in an ultra speed. Yeah, thank you so much. I was thinking, how would you take a solution like this further?
I'm developing it.
You are developing it.
Mm.
Wow.
Because
amazing.
we don't have anything like this in Spain, and
yeah,
and maybe I'm going to open a crowdfunding or something. I don't know how, but I'm going to find a way. If this is not the final project, because it needs to be done the user test, the AEB, and it has to be refined, of course. But I think that there is a need for something like this in the market. So I'm very proud of how people reacted to this, and they are urging me to send the feedback, and I'm going to publish it in my portfolio. So
fantastic.
I'm
So
definitely
your next steps, will you try to find a team to work with? No.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Great. I remember your research, you know, the phases of your research. You remember that you were going through all these phases of these insights that changed your your ideas and plan all over again. Would you like to take us a little bit through that and how you got through that in the end?
Yes. The research, I have to say that, in my opinion, well, I would like to have had more, like a larger sample size of people. Because at the end, you are working with freelance people who don't have much time to fill your surveys. But the different profile led me to create 3 different personas, and I would have been able to create even more because of the generation gap. And I think it's very interesting because at the end of the day, okay, you are a freelance and you are working in this market or in this sector, but we have like super different people from super different contexts. And our main motivation and goal is that we share a love and an interest, which is we like text, and that is why it's called text value. Because as long as you work with text and you love perfection, this community is for you. And I also like the idea that in the survey, the people like the idea of being the most inclusive community in Spain. I don't know if people from here in Spain is watching this, but in Spain, it's not traditional to use the X or the E instead of A and O. And this is, I think that is really bold and really disruptive in the market. And that is why I think that my idea is going to be successful, because what is new and what scares people is actually what is successful.
Thank you. Good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing this. Thank you.
Yes. Awesome, Rocío. I hope you got a great team for developing this. So last but not least is going to be Pan.
Hi. All right, got it sorted out, and I'm going to share my screen. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm sorry, I'm using Canva and it's a little bit finicky. I'm just going through this. Can you see my screen now, or?
No, not yet.
Oh gosh, okay. Let me share this one. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Full screen, right?
Yes, perfect.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Pang, and today I'll be sharing with you my content design and UX writing project, which is based on something very personal to me. And let's talk and get right into it about postpartum. Postpartum is a time period that immediately takes place after someone has given birth. We live in a culture of anticipation for the experience of birth, but never giving much thought about what happens to the mind and body after birth. And Exactly 1 year ago today, or this month, sorry, I gave birth to my first child. Even though I experienced an easy, natural birth, and I had my husband at home with me, I went through a month of postpartum depression. When I was pregnant, I knew there would be a chance I would encounter postpartum depression, so I hired a postpartum doula named Mai. Mai was my unicorn. Not only did she give me and my baby massages, most importantly, she was there just for me. She was my wise woman, friend, and who understood the physical, emotional, and spiritual transitions that I was going through. I definitely think my postpartum depression would have lasted a lot longer than 1 month if I hadn't had Mai there. And that's Mai in the right there, the picture. Now, fact. Postpartum is an overwhelming time. Almost all the women who answered my postpartum survey shared their experience close to this statement. Birth can take a huge mental toll on a woman's mental and emotional state. Some are not able to control balance of such states due to the changes of hormones and uncontrolled outside factors. Through my research and survey, I found that 80% of the surveyors experienced postpartum mental and emotional overwhelm. We're also calling that baby blues. And 40% experience some form of postpartum mood disorders, which include postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. I'd like to add that my stats actually match those of the USA CDC's mental health stats. So why are we not having these conversations with our doctors, midwives, friends, and family to prepare for such a time? So my partial solution to this is providing birthing bodies access to postpartum experts, tools, and resources to help them navigate their postpartum journey with clarity. Empower them with a sense of self-trust, community for support, and confidence in their recovery. And so meet Poppy here, your Postpartum Companion, an app that gives you instant access to chat with postpartum experts. Poppy's postpartum experts are made out of a tribe of birth keepers, registered midwives, and doulas. An intuitive app, Poppy creates a customizable postpartum recovery plan, and it guides you through any stage of recovery by giving a week-by-week count on what to expect from your body, mind during this very transitional time. So the content provided in the app focuses on tools for introspection and self-practices to support postpartum recovery. Users also have the access to a safe space to connect with others, like an online community made up of those who have given birth in the same year as they did. So we're going to go over the Poppy brand and style identity. Accessibility and affordability are core to Poppy's mission. I know that not everyone has access and finance to hire a postpartum midwife or doula, so let's make it accessible and affordable. What Poppy is disrupting here is a one-size-fits-all maternal health model. There's no other app in Europe that's disrupting this model right now. And we're going to go over more of the brand and voice. So content within Poppy app is produced in tone that emulates the authority of a friend and therapist who cares in mind. Poppy's brand voice sounds as if it was a supportive, trusted, friendly friend and ally. It's practical and compassionate, matched for the audience target of Generation Millennial. Poppy's brand tone is balance of encouragement and seriousness. App language, tone, and content curated for the postpartum sensitive mind, adopting a therapeutic glossary that evokes inclusion, sensitivity, holistic introspection. UX language aims to provoke thought and a friendly challenge to target the group of millennials to rethink what they think they know about birth and postpartum. Web tone is informative, backed by voices from leading experts in women's health and wellness. So let's go over the visual design principles of Poppy. The name itself is that of a flower and seed that we are familiar of. Birth can be thought of as metaphorically as a flower opening, starting from a seed. Poppy's logo and title font is GT Super Display. Bold classic typography is important, especially when using an app, to make it intuitive for the user, especially during postpartum when your mind might be overwhelmed to grasp anything and that's hard to read. Main content text font within the web frame is Futura. The app design is mindful of the curvatures in birthing bodies. You'll see some of my sample prototypes in the next slide. So drawing lines of physical curvatures of the body, Poppy uses strokes of fine lines, Picasso hand-drawn elements of introspective, contemplative feminine mind. And we're using pastels and watercolors, because they're associated with therapeutic colors. So that's what I'm going for with my color palette here. Since poppy flowers are normally red in association, I've also replaced it with red, the red with coral, because it perhaps speaks to the inner femininity and creation. So let's go and have a look at this prototype. This is the above the fold of my landing page. And I'm just going to go into Figma and show you just a glimpse of the web and app prototype. Actually, I have Figma just right here. So this is the web frame, and we've got all of my content UX writing here that I've posted. I tried to use as much of the in-business type of sense call to actions here. And here's what the app might look like. So you have the postpartum midwife that's online that can, and you can message her and talk to her. There's also recovery of week by week of what it might look like and what to expect, and what some of the content that is going to be generated can be used in here as basically blog, but also as articles for the expectant bodies to read. So this is just a little walkthrough of the page, what it might look like. So I'm really focusing on women for women, or again, the inner femininity to all bodies who are birthing. Just a really quick look at my app. The app here, we're going for bold buttons. If you can see here, when you selection of where the woman is at during her pregnancy at the registration phase. Because she, as Nicole had actually told me, that she might be breastfeeding, and she needs big buttons, which makes sense. So and then here, the language here is very personal, asking the person, how does that actually look for the person? And that their birth stories matter. So these are some of the elements of the UX design. And let's go back to and we're going to go over the personas. So these are the people who are going to be using the app. And when it comes to talking about Poppy, we're banking on millennial mamas who are utilizing mobile apps. Nowadays, I think almost every millennial mother is on their phone for some TLC. So here we have Liz. She's a marketing manager expecting her first child. She likes to organize and plan and establish in her self-care routine, like working out and yoga. But she loves checklists and planning. So Poppy would assist her in giving that peace of mind, knowing what to expect during her postpartum time. And one of her biggest main concerns, and this is what I found from the survey and the research that I did, was there was this consistent dialogue for concern that of women feeling that they want to get back to themselves again, back to before they were pregnant. And the user journey with Poppy, we can plan to target women of expectant bodies in 2 stages. So those are people who are pregnant and those who have given birth within the first year of postpartum. This is an example journey of someone who is in their 3rd trimester of pregnancy discovering Poppy via Instagram. The idea is to provoke the thought that expectant bodies, about whether or not they really know how to, what to expect for postpartum recovery, what it will be like, and also if they actually have the help that they need. The eventual outcome is to have someone download and subscribe to Poppy for 1 year and empower them throughout the whole year. And this is just like a sample of my web frame. It's pretty simple and it's for apps, but very heavy on the journals and blogs that would correlate within the app. and you later in the presentations, when you have the link to it, you can have a view of the wireframe. Some sample UX web writing is, these are the things that are from the About page that we could see. So trust in a time of overwhelm. Postpartum can be a time of overwhelm, sensitivity, and at times just downright confusing, a blur to some. Poppy gives you direct access to experienced and trained postpartum experts who are here to guide you through all the phases and stages of postpartum. And to go over like the real, honest, non-judgmental conversations. It's a safe space again for women to voice their concerns. So we want to highlight that in our language and to evoke that in the app and the website for them. So let's go over the SEO and intelligent content planning. So Poppy's main goal is to, in the digital world, is to cultivate an honest and compassionate dialogue with expectant bodies and those in postpartum recovery. Using Google Trends, we can see that postpartum is a constant hot topic of a search. The big keyword is, of course, postpartum depression. A lot of people are concerned and wondering about about that all over the world. It's not just in one country specifically. I also found that postpartum hair loss is a big deal in searches, and it's definitely something that none of the doctors and birth experts warned me about when I was pregnant. What all the SEO's research helps with is planning future content that touches the exact keywords that I found. So like postpartum depression, counseling, hair loss, care, postpartum doula, and postpartum blues. The objective is for application subscription downloads, and the goal is to become a go-to resource and web authority regarding anything about postpartum care. It's a big goal, but sometimes I think it's absolutely achievable since there hasn't actually been a standout source authority on the web that solely dedicates and combines the physical, mental, and emotional component of postpartum. There is a variety of components to Poppy's intelligent content plan, and I plan to leverage big on mobile-specific user demands and really rely on social media as a content marketing asset. An example of content management systems I'd put in place is Gatsby, because it has can combine the full stack of services of a static website. So vision-wise, I'd definitely hire in-house web developers and marketers, designers to help me to birth Poppy. So what's next? Further research and development for prototyping is needed, and user testing just to see and play around if my UX design concepts were something validated, and of course to maybe take a business plan, create a business plan. I'm on maternity leave right now for another year, and what started out as an innocent course project has really stirred my heart to take further actions and see where it all takes me. So I just have to follow some doors. And quality content is queen, and let's use it to give people power over postpartum. That's my...
Wow, amazing fun. I love it. Super interesting topic. Love it. Congrats.
Thank you.
Any questions or Rocío?
Yes, Pam. I don't know how to formulate this question. It's more a thought, maybe. Do you want this application or this project to be seen as a digital doula? If the answer is no, do you think there is enough culture of doulas? Because I have many friends that would have loved to have a doula in her lives, and they weren't able to find one. And I don't know if this is because it's very difficult to find one. Your content is going to be focused maybe in giving you the facility of locating a doula next to you or recommend you a professional?
No, we're actually going to have our own in-house postpartum midwives and doulas that work for Poppy. So that means that you can answer in a chat-based service just to connect with them, and you'll be assigned your own doula and midwife on the app. So that's separate than a physical doula. Yes, it's a digital tool, an app that is a single source resource for postpartum recovery and care. And the people, whoever is, it's like almost like a diary entry too, but like again, introspection is a big word for it, because I think in my journey and quite a lot of other women's, we go through a lot of introspection, becoming a mother and going through this journey of giving birth. So, and I wanted to provide this, and accessibility again, and affordability is huge, because, you know, for a doula, I mean, I paid basically 2,000 euros a month for my doula, which is a lot for a lot of people. They cannot afford that. But if you have an app where it's a subscription base of like maybe 100 euros for the whole year, that might, and you have unlimited chat access to a doula and midwife, why not, right? They might not be able to come and give you massages, but they can be there to answer your questions.
Awesome. More questions? Marie?
Wow, Bang, impressive. Fantastic. Very, very pro, super pro, super pro. So looking forward to see this going live. It's really, I can sense that you really made use of the course, because it's like, it's kind of, it's a good package for pitching for investors as well here, you know. I don't know what your plans are for going forward, but I wondered, I had a little question here. How would you measure success?
Yeah, so I would measure success in, first, actually, the first part is just to get the validation from women that they would use the app, like from the user testing, and see, yeah, if it's something that, you know, because a lot of us go on Google and trust, and Google is literally the go-to authority for everything, right? As a new mom or as a mother, so to have, like, yeah, to test that out of like the habit wise would be a big part. And then another part would be the subscription model, right? So if it's something like that people would actually pay for, because again, like the Rocio had asked, do people really know what doulas are? So we would have to do a lot of education a little bit on what doulas are. But I'm gonna have midwives on there too. So midwives, everybody know, and especially in the US, Canada, and across Germany and Scandic countries, I think midwives are very well respected. So maybe the success model might be, yeah, the number of, like, again, that you can maybe choose from, like a midwife or a doula, because if that's going to be a different price, maybe a different pricing point, because of the different type of expertise. I mean, if midwives are very, very knowledgeable and they did a science degree, obviously in their degree, but doulas are trained, but with experience, are like your coach, you know. So I think, yeah, the measure of success. Sorry, I don't really have like a complete picture yet, but these would be like some of the touchstones that I'm just slowly trying to gather.
Cool, great. And what's the market again that you would go first for?
The market would be for, yeah, again, targeted expectant bodies, and I use that bodies because just because it's not just women anymore. So I want to be gender inclusive and for all the new changes that are out there. But nevertheless, no matter what type of gender you are, postpartum is really hard on your body and mind. So, and then the market, yeah, again, generation millennials who use the apps. But I've seen a lot of people outside millennial, you know, as a mom, still using apps. And postpartum, the time frame is technically for like 1 year, the first 1 year, but it's also a maternal health app, so you can really use it, and just, if you'd like, further on than 1 year.
And geographically, where would you go first?
I would go for Europe right now, just because we're so. I think Europe's a lot more friendly for midwife, like accepting of this type of you know, in America they would call midwives alternative healthcare, you know, or like, but here it's not an alternate. This is like part and integrated of like the system, especially in Germany. So yes, I would go for something here in Europe. And maybe even like I can even see pitching it to the big like German insurance companies here, and it would save them millions of dollars having to deal with women going through therapy or going through some sort of like, you know, paying for like care out of you know, their insurance care. So if they just have this app. So that's
Thank
just
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
More questions or thoughts for Pank?
I wanted to, also congratulate you. Excellent presentation. And I could see so many of the UX discussions that we had applied all over the place. That was fun to see. Fun to see the SEO slide as well. Just overall, fantastic job, and really want to see this. I think all of the presentations we've seen today, I want to see them come to life. So hopefully you can use some of your free time to keep this one going. Well done.
Thank you all.
I agree with you, Jen. I want to see all these projects out there. Well, if no more questions there, I just want to congratulate you, ladies, over these intensive weeks. I'm super glad to see all these projects, amazing work. I want to congratulate you and also the instructor for making this course so smooth, super easy for you, I hope. I know it's a lot of work, but after seeing all this project, I can see that you understand them, you get the knowledge, and you can go out there. This is just the beginning, and I push you to post an article on Medium or even LinkedIn to make it louder and see if there is someone who wants to, make it real. Also, I want to say thank you, Marie, for making, and also Jen, Nicole. Sorry that Miriam is not here, but just to let you know, her child just fell down and she has to went to the hospital. This happened just 30 minutes ago. She just called me. So I want you to congratulate you and say thank you to you to making this course possible. It's our first edition, and I'm super glad to see all this work. I don't know if you ladies, the students, want to say something for your instructors, for your classmates. If so, go for it.
Thank you, lovely teachers, for your help and support.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like, you guys really gave me a lot of encouragement, especially like being a mom. You have no idea right now, especially the first year. And I'm so glad I took the chance to do this course, because it just gave me so much of myself back. So thank you.
That's super cute.
Yes, I always also wanted to say that it has been a hard time for me in the middle of the course, but thanks to all of you, because it has been super great.
Thank you, Julieta. Who else? Don't be shy, ladies.
I'm just generally sad that it's done. Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you all.
Now you have Saturdays free. You will miss it.
That's true.
It was very nice, but also very funny. Too much content, a lot of things to read, but it was. I spent a very good time with the teachers and the rest of the colleagues. It was a very nice experience.
Yes, I really appreciate the effort, especially the effort of the mentors, the instructor, and for me it has been an experience that it has been overall super fun. It has been exhausting, but it's been fun. So thank you.
Yeah, also the 10 weeks, they passed by so quickly, and yeah, your input also and your support in the projects was always very helpful, and yeah, especially for those who are like in Barcelona. Hope to see you once in person also, and not only online.
Sure.
For sure, you should go to the campus.
Exactly.
I met Rocio there and some of you, and we have fun. So hopefully, after all this situation, we can make our big opening in the new office. And meanwhile, you can just pass by and say hello to us. So now it's time for you to celebrate yourself. Take a glass of wine or a beer and have fun. Be proud of you.
Well, thank you so much, guys. My little one wants to say thanks for being there and join all of our classes.
Danny, I want to say thank you to you too for organizing everything and yeah, all of the kind of unseen things that you do that are so important. So thank you too.
No worries. I'm here for that, and I'm proud. For me, the cycle ends when I saw this project. It's amazing. From the very beginning, when I allow you to all the introduction to the course and going through the weeks, and then after 10 weeks see the project. For me, it's just amazing. So thank you all. Well, ladies, have a wonderful night. I will send you the recording tomorrow, and then the link when we have it in YouTube. Have fun and see you soon. I will send you your certificate soon, later this week. Okay?
Bye-bye and good luck. Wishing you all the best.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.